Cool.
Um, hey, let's see, what's your friend's name again? I forgot.
Tommy.
Oh, is I was excited about maybe seeing him today. Is he maybe going to show up or?
I don't know. I texted him about it and he was I think he was a little bit trepid about it.
Okay,
But
sure.
that's fine.
Yeah.
We'll catch him sometime. He said he was
Yep.
gonna think about listening in. He might. I told him about it. He might have forgot when it was, but that's all
Okay.
right.
Yeah. Yeah, we have the videos in the channel link. So, yeah.
Yeah, we'll catch him. Catch him on the flip side.
If he ever, like you said, if he just wants to watch the videos, uh, did you share the video link with him?
Yeah, I will.
Okay, cool. All right. It's kind of hard to find it actually, in a way. I found
Hard to find what?
the actual video link.
Yeah.
I like emailed it to you, and then I emailed it to myself, and I emailed to other people, and then I tried to find it, and then a girl searched. She saw on my screen the name of the channel, which is different than the name of the email. The name of the email is Journey with Us Through Dark and Light, but the name of the channel I think is something kind of like that but different because I made it different. It's like now I can't remember what the name of the channel is. it's so I have found it to be a little bit on the difficult side myself. But anyway, and then when I upload videos, sometimes it goes to one of my other emails, and so then I spent like a half an hour one week just trying to figure that out. So I think for people who aren't in like IT like I am, it could sometimes be very difficult. So anyway, so how was your week?
It was pretty good. There was some challenging things in there, but also really good things too. A lot of good. I did a lot of readings this week. Had a couple
Hmm.
of stellar soul schools,
Wow.
so that was good.
Boy, I would still I don't know you I don't know that you've ever said no to this. So if I bring it up again and I shouldn't keep bringing it up, just let me know. But if there's a way to send me a link and have like a way to zoom into the soul school so that I had the option of maybe, you know, participating or
Let me
seeing
figure it
some of
out.
those.
Let me think about that.
Okay.
I don't know what I think about that. Not you being there, just like
Uh-huh.
tech thing about it. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. About having like a computer going while you guys are all there, that'd be a little bit different, right?
Yeah, I mean, my screen's big
Yeah.
enough that it'd actually be kind of cool. You know,
Okay.
people would see you.
Yeah. Let's see. Uh-oh. But yeah, so you had a good week.
Pretty good. Yeah.
I with challenges and some cool stuff that happened.
Yeah, there was challenges for sure and some good stuff for sure. A lot of good. There was a lot of good things, but there was some things that there was like a reoccurring uh I guess you could call it a program or a pattern or a frustrating thing that I've been
Can you
dealing with.
adjust your screen a little bit so the bottom of your face isn't cut off?
Is
Thanks.
that better?
Yeah. I want to see your full beautiful
I like
head.
my face. It's my face.
Yeah.
I
Face to face.
I like my
Face.
face.
Yeah, I like your face too.
Nice.
I like my face.
Yeah, you got a good face.
I'm glad we like each other's faces.
Yeah.
Let's face it, man.
Way to go, faces. Your face is
Really.
good. My face is good. If Tommy was here, his face would be good.
His face would be good too.
Yeah. Everyone's got a good face.
Yeah, it can't avoid facing it, man.
Yeah.
So you were starting to get into what happened. Sorry, I wanted to see your face and I interrupted you.
Oh, I was just it was just I was just kind of frustrated with a certain trend, and but I'm working it out, so that's good.
Cool. Anything about how the spirit is kind of guiding you through that or helping you through that? That would
Well, it
be
is giving me
inspirational to
it's
hear.
giving me answers to how to deal with it. It's helping me to calm down. Um, it's complex because part of the way that it is, it's like when I get into this particular thing, I sort of get mad at spirit, so I don't really even want to listen to that's part of it because it's actually directed at them, my guidance team and spirits.
Mm-hmm. I see. That's normal. That happens.
Yeah, definitely does. Definitely does.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely some angst involved with being on a spiritual quest for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Our soul is hoping and longing and trying to help us learn through any
Yeah,
of those things. So
yeah.
yeah.
I think what it is like I think there's this suffering on this material plane, and the stuff that is sometimes not understood by the soul or by the broken soul, and at least for I feel that way because sometimes I'm like, what this why do I keep having to like suffer, like what is the point, sometimes, and then you project that back onto the higher self, to the greater good, to the other, because I think there's a part of us that feels like everything is purposeful and everything is the way that it is, and everything is intentional. So when you're going through suffering, you're basically like, okay, if everything's intentional, if everything is by this higher, greater good, then why the suffering? If you say that you love us, if everything's supposed to be loving and good, then why are we still going through miserable hell all the time? And
Can I give you the quick answer?
well, no, I know the answer to it. I
What's a
just
quick answer?
what was that?
Well, let me give it to you just in a way that it just came to me.
Okay, I didn't want you to solve it for me. I'll just
I'm not solving it for you. I'm just
okay.
giving you the quick answer.
All right.
This doesn't solve it because if it solved it, it wouldn't. We all we would need is a quick answer. So the quick answer never solves it.
All right.
It's a
Go ahead.
process. But the quick answer is that it's an opportunity for opening our heart even further.
So what?
The quick answer is it's an opportunity for opening our heart even further.
I think that's true. Yeah. I definitely whenever I usually on the other side of that angsty feeling is surrender and love, and so once you get to that point, you're just like, okay, it's fine, it's good, I don't have anything to worry about, all I got to do is just be here, and that frees you up, that makes you
And
free.
then that releases the transformation that
Yes.
can happen, right? Because it's not just letting go and saying, okay, it's fine, however shitty or bad I feel about it, but it's also that there's a gift that can come that where we're transformed, and suddenly the problem becomes like our wisdom, our love, our understanding, something in the universe, everything transforms and shifts so that it's not the same, it'll never be the same situation again that it was before we opened our heart. The situation can actually transforms into something that gives us what was missing so that it was a conflict, it was a problem, it was suffering. Um, so when we open our heart, God doesn't just say, okay, it's all about just opening your heart and that's all I want from you. It's also about God giving us something because we opened our heart. And that, I mean, in my experience, that's what has always happened. There's always been something that I received that was even better than what I was losing that was causing the suffering.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm not trying to fix it for you though. I'm just kind of like using this as an opportunity to
Yeah.
share
It's
my
okay. I can.
experience.
I can. I mean, I'd ask you directly to solve it for me if I needed it.
Right. And I'm so
But
happy with my own heart, my own life and stuff like that. I don't need to
and I
fix
know
it.
I know those answers. It's just the struggle of it. It's just
Yeah,
struggle.
yeah, yeah.
And there's a cycle. It's a cycle, and I know it's just a part of the way. It isn't that the universe is trying to torture us. It's just the way this material world is. It's just the connection to it, and it's just my own view of the world. It's my own story. It's just a deeply held story that's inside me. But when I let go of the story, on the other side of that is freedom and it's peace and it's love. And a lot of times when I'm going through that, they'll give me a birthday cake in my brain because they're basically saying like happy birthday, like you're
Yeah.
freeing yourself, you're becoming birth, because this realm is all about people get stuck in suffering. You're mute. You're mute.
Oh, I want to be your advocate in you staying in the place you're in right now because we go through things when we want to, when we're ready to, when we have the desire to, and those desires, those shifts within us, those are gifts from God too, and gifts from ourselves, from our own soul, from our own physical body and mind. It's all okay wherever we're at and however far we want to go. That's beautiful too, and that's loving too. We sometimes I haven't realized that I'm loving myself even in not opening until I need something that I need and I have, and then I'm ready. Sometimes that's circumstances, something different that happens. Um, yeah, but all of those, uh, so some things are very, very involved. Sometimes they're involved in simple ways, emotional ways. Sometimes they're involved in complex ways and mental ways. And all of those relationships, those are all love. Those are all okay. Those are all part of sound, coherent, constitutional parts of ourselves that are good. And that's sometimes where the double wound is, that we even feel like we can't love ourselves if we're not healed, or if we don't let go of something. But the truth of it is that it's all loving. It's all good. Even if we're not, even if we're holding on to something, we're still good,
Yep, I know
you know.
that.
Yeah. And if it's deeply involved and it goes way to deeper parts of ourselves, or it goes deeper parts of the spirit, or deeper parts of the universe, or however, whatever it's related to, if it's a long involved process and journey, that just means that there's a lot there that's beautiful that we're exploring, and that's connected, and there's a lot to discover. And but full integration is sometimes a very, very deep and very, very rich and very, very long journey. That just one part, maybe, you know. So yeah, I love the journey and I love how it is. That's why I'm not anymore in any kind of rush to try to fix myself or fix someone. In fact, I've become less and less rushed about fixing myself, you know. Like I've just actually this week I had some experiences where I realized by sitting and waiting, it was just enough. And I didn't even press into the thing or whatever it was, you know, one or two things. I just I just had a sense that I was going to get help somehow without pressing into it, you know. So that's a part of it. So don't deal with it. I'm not using reverse psychology there, I promise. I'm really joking. I really, really am. Okay. I
I
hope you
know.
believe me.
I am. I just that's one of my pet
Okay.
peeves
Is it?
when people try to fix me. I hate it.
Yeah.
Drives
Yeah.
me
Yeah. Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
People don't know they're doing it a lot of times. They just
Ah.
when you share with them, they automatically think they have to give advice or something about
Yeah.
a
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
and I I've been trained. I tried to train myself to be just to try to be a frame so people can do their own thinking because it's more
Right.
empowering that way. You basically what you're saying is you can't solve your problem. I have to give you the not you, but some people do that.
I
And
see. I
I don't
see.
think you were really trying to do that. I just
Right.
and it's one of my pet peeves.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
because I have like tremendous wisdom in my heart, and I have a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the answers, and I
Mm-hmm.
will trust me. I will go to people and ask them if I need their help. I say, hey,
Yeah.
help
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have the skills to
That's
do.
cool. Now that's an interesting point we could talk about too, because I think that's
Yeah,
probably an underdeveloped skill that I have, and probably a lot of people are undeveloped in that skill. So that's a cool point.
yeah. I have the ability to be able to verbalize my desire. I used to get into giant fights with my mother because she's so codependent that she always does that. She's always trying to
Mm-hmm.
fix everybody and she doesn't know,
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah.
know. And so she just always be like, "Well, you need to do this," and I'm saying, "No, no, no. I need to no, I don't." Because yeah, she wasn't seeing it necessarily from my point of view.
Mm-hmm.
But then oftentimes she would also be just such a great listener and provide good solid feedback that
Mm-hmm.
actually ended up being really good. So she's come a long way. We both learned, and I've done it too. I do it sometimes too, and you have to just be careful, especially if you're a spiritual person and you have wisdoms and you're teaching. Sometimes when you share your wisdoms, it can come across as mansplaining, and
Right.
you don't
Yeah.
want to do that. It's too much.
Yeah. And there's also the feeling, it's like a lot of times the first thing people want, and maybe the biggest thing, and maybe the only thing, is just to feel the connection, just
Yep.
to be connect, just to
Yeah,
connect.
exactly. I just want people to know that
Yeah.
to just be there for you,
Yeah.
that they understand. That's
Yeah.
really all you want. You want someone to understand and to give you compassion.
Yeah.
And
To give you compassion, that's the part I'm trying to emphasize right now, because, you know, in my working through codependence, what I learned was that there's this place that I never really explored that much, which is just sitting back and not saying anything and just feeling people, and that I was safe in that place. And in fact, I enjoyed more internal realizations the more I just didn't start sharing my first realization as they were sharing. I found myself going deeper and deeper and having more of like the spirit talking to me even more about them, but I kept it to myself. they were talking to me, my spirit was talking to me, or the spirit was talking to me, both, because I had had experiences, or I was having an experience right in that moment while they were talking, and something was being revealed to me about myself that related to what they were talking to. So the more that I just stopped and listened and waited and just sometimes didn't even talk when it was my turn to talk and just sat back, I could feel like it was like they were helping me to go much deeper within myself by just
Yeah,
listening.
yeah,
You
listening.
know,
Yeah, it's
there's
listening.
all these other things that will happen.
Yeah, yeah, it's listening.
And there's also a deep emotional connection that I feel when I do that, to myself and to the other person. That if I just start talking and I'm sharing what came into my mind, it's not in the heart, it's not in my own heart. So sometimes it takes not talking to connect to your own heart, you know. And when I connect to my own heart, that's when it opens the door for all those other things. Um, yeah. So it's actually a wonderful thing to do. Sometimes it's more satisfying. But um, if we, if somebody's sharing something and it's not about fixing them, but it's just about it, we relate to it in some way. In fact, even if it's not that the person is even sharing a difficulty because they want to share a difficulty, but they're just talking about what the hell is going on or what has happened. They're just talking, and then it triggers something in us like, oh yeah, that reminds me of something cool that happened to me. You know, that sharing might not be fixing somebody like you already acknowledged. But again, there's a balance because if I keep on sharing what I'm excited about, I can also, that could also be me not just going deeper because I'm just choosing to not fix but share. So I'm not sitting back and listening and going deep. So yeah, it's a balancing act. But you already said all that,
Hmm.
and I'm not listening.
That's all right. You listen. You get it. You know. You're on. You're on. We're on the same
I'm
page.
joking.
We're on the same
Thanks.
page.
Yeah,
I love you. I got love for
I
you.
love
I
you too.
got love skills for you.
And I love to joke, and I know you love to joke sometimes. You've joked sometimes.
I'm a
I've
joker.
seen you. Are you?
Mhm. I like to joke. I mean, I'm not
Cool.
like a practical joker where I like play like tricks on people, but I do like to fucking make funny things, say funny stuff for sure.
Yeah.
I love humor. There's some things I'll just laugh and just be like, I think like one of the things like I did this one of the soul schools I did was on love. You would have liked that one. That would have been a good one to have your nice face in the computer there on that day. It was but one of the things that was talking about was how love, there it is. Oh goodness. Love is about one thing good about love is that it has like a lot of humor, opens up humor.
That's the total best thing, man. I love that so much.
Yeah, love
Uh,
is funny because it's just like, ah, okay, everything's good, you know? Yeah. Life is, yeah, like I said before, there's suffering, but life is good.
I love talking about it, and I love talking about it too much.
That's all right. I mean, I love talking about it
Yeah.
as much as you do, probably.
No, you love it more. No, I love it more than you. No, you love it more
No,
than
I
me.
love it more than you love it more than I do.
uh,
I love it more than you love that I love
that
it.
you love it. Yeah, right. Now you're getting into the master's degree level.
Yeah, there's a lot of layers to it. So much layers.
Yeah. So, um, but this is a video that we're kind of wanting to share about things, right? That
Yeah.
we are also, about the spirit and about life and things. And this, what we've been just doing, is exactly that. But kind of going into that mode of going into talking about things and going into detail about things is something that's good too, right? Do you agree with that?
I do.
Cool. So, do you have anything that you would like to expound upon that is in your heart today?
Um, I don't know. Maybe just yeah. I nothing's coming off the top of my head at the moment.
How about the bottom of your heart? Is anything coming off the bottom of your
Nope.
or the middle of your heart or the
Middle.
side?
Nothing coming off the middle. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to try something new.
Yeah.
I'm going to try sharing something and then not talking that much.
Okay.
If
It's fine.
if you feel like you want to jump in, because I know you're an excellent listener, you, so you're such a good listener that sometimes you might not jump in when you have the urge. But if I start talking and I share something and you want to jump in, I'm gonna this
Yeah.
time invite you to maybe do that so that I get to practice more not talking. How about that? What do you think? Do you want to do
Sounds
that or
good.
should I just talk? Okay.
I agree to
Okay.
the terms. Yeah.
Okay. We have a verbal contract.
Yeah.
But the contract is only as good as the verbal that it's written on.
Yeah. I'm cold in my room right now, so I'm cuddling myself.
Okay. Cuddling is a good thing, especially with the spirit. I mean, especially with people, but also with the spirit.
Yeah, I like cuddling with
Um,
people.
Me too. Um, so yeah, I went through this process this week where I I went through a thing where I had to two things actually, where I had to take on the challenge of realizing that my heart needed to be expanded more. That at the point that it was at, I felt hopeless and helpless in the situation. And these days, it's kind of unusual for that to happen for me because I've been having such a experience of being able to just be open hearted, like in my meditation and my chanting to the sun, in my walks on the beach, during working hours. That it's not like it used to be where it was kind of like every once in a while I would be able to open my heart, but it was mostly just kind of like being in this kind of neutral place or maybe a little bit of a closed, fearful place, or maybe sometimes a lot fearful. But I've gotten to the point now to where like I see that so much of the bliss and the happiness and the joy and the solutions and the creativity is in the open-hearted place, that I'm just like really being really open-hearted quite a lot, and I'm so thankful for that. And but this week there was a couple of things that came up, and one of them was around somebody that was in a situation where they were in a lot of pain around their job, and somebody was counseling them, and there was kind of a double standard going on, where the person that was counseling them kind of was in a position where their teaching philosophy was kind of like not to fix people in the sense of not even counsel them like psychological counseling, but more like just spiritual healing, like oneness and light. And the idea is that the spiritual teaching only goes so deep. It goes to the point where, like, whatever complex traumas or problems you have inside yourself is all going to just be able to be healed by just opening up to light and oneness, and the golden radiant light of the sun going through and washing you and cleansing you, and you're seeing your divine love, being divinely loved and all that. And I felt really, really bad for this person. And at one point, the person actually said the words that the ego can be sadistic. And I was just like, oh man, that is so much going in the direction that I don't feel I've experienced love as. Because what I've experienced myself, thankfully, is that the ego is a good thing, and that it protects us. It gives us our place to be an individual in this physical realm. And if it's if we're struggling inside, it's because there's something coherent within us, either a wound or programming or something, and the ego is just trying to deal with that. And when we really get healing, we go deep enough to get that healing, the ego then begins to function in a healthy way again. But the fears that the ego has, I would never demonize those. I would never say that the ego, my own ego, is intending to hurt me or be sadistic or anything like that. I would say that something in the world caused a trauma, and it's not really, I don't think it's valuable to place blame, but if I'm a loving little child and I was violated in some way, and that caused me to have a split off within me, and I carry that in later years of my life to where I can't enjoy or love or feel myself in a loving way because of that split off, then love wants me to be able to experience what was lost in that trauma. And anything that's going on inside of me is part of me trying to deal with that. And I'm ultimately lovable in every way. So, but I do feel that me loving that little experience that I had in my life, loving that event, loving me in that moment, loving me, like, even in feeling the violation and feeling compassion for myself at having been violated, however deeply the compassion and the love needs to go, and going there and accepting that is bringing it, that doesn't require that I blame the person who was part of maybe creating the trauma. I can still accept them in that situation and say, well, they were only doing the best they could, or there's a whole bunch of different levels of loving and accepting that person, but not to the detriment of me accepting myself fully lovingly. And so blame doesn't have to be a part of it. And that's where the golden light comes back in, because the golden radiance of the sun and the golden light of love and the vibration of the universe and everything is all good. And it does. And part of me becoming a healer and being a healer and healing myself is to fully embrace the goodness and the golden light and the light, and then give it back out to the world and individuals, even in my own past. And and to not have any hangups in either the male or the female energy is to fully accept both my father and my mother in exactly at where they were and what they were, and send that. But that doesn't mean I don't need to go in and heal my traumas. And some of the religious systems that I've seen out there, it seems in some of the psychological systems, it seems like they either go all the way into the psychological, and they don't, their awareness of the spirit light of oneness is maybe not fully available. But then some of the religious spiritual systems, they have the golden oneness of light and sending it back out to the world. But they kind of stop short of going into deep psychological trauma healing. And you know, I've mentioned this in past weeks, but I saw it yet again in another system that I was contemplating and opened myself up to the spirit to maybe become involved with. And I'm still opening my heart that if the spirit wants me to go be a part of that system, I'm willing to. But I also think that discernment of the capacity of the system is also a good thing. And so, yeah. Um, any urges to share during that? Or,
No, no urges. I had
okay,
no urges. I was actually just very meditative. I closed my eyes
cool,
and I was meditating during it. Not in a
cool,
just in a nice, slow, contemplative
cool.
headspace.
Yeah, awesome. So I know through my own journey of healing myself around work that it was a very deep, very involved thing that went into uh, early parts of my childhood, and the fear and the compulsion and the anger around me performing for my parents and in school. And there was many, many deep things that came into my healing. It wasn't just expand your heart and open your heart and be able to fully accept work as it is. That wasn't enough for me. I needed both. And um, and I'm so thankful that the Divine Mother helped me, made me in a way, and gave me the inner desires in my heart to find my wounds and go into them, but also uh, gave me leading and guidance in other things that I heard from others and their experiences in the spiritual journey that supplemented and it um, brought together the psychological and the spiritual for me, like in a confluence where the timing was just right, and the transformation happened. So I, for one, can say that I've experienced being unafraid of being at work and being in the spirit in creativity in a secular, high performance, very complex, uh, very demanding environment that's highly competitive. And so I would have never been able to really mentally believe that that was possible until I had that experience. That was just like a big question mark in my life, you know, that it could ever happen, you know. But then when I see somebody else suffering, I have compassion for them. You know, I think it's a very complicated one, and it's a very challenging one for many people because there is so much from our society that looks at the performance side and not the acceptance side and not the genuine self side. So integrating that I think is a big challenge, and I'm hoping that I can come to a place someday where I'll have the opportunity to to help people with that. So I'm looking at schools like uh, spiritual counseling schools or spiritual psychology schools, or even I'm contemplating going back and getting a master's degree in just counseling, clinical counseling, or something. Um, but I've got my trepidations because, like I've said, each system, it doesn't seem to bring together fully both. You know, some of them get really close, like this complex anonymous thing that I met this guy, he's starting. He has a deep sense of the spiritual, but he's kind of built it off of like Alcoholics Anonymous and Codependence Anonymous. He's been through those programs. He created his own programs called CTA, Complex Trauma Anonymous. And he does have a deep spiritual aspect to it, but it's kind of undefined. It's only defined so far as in to rely upon your higher power. But he takes it a little bit further than is usually taken in Codependence Anonymous. Um, from the meetings that I've observed and stuff, and the things that I've read, his spirituality goes a little further insofar as he goes into inner body awareness, and he goes into a breathing thing that in deep breathing in and out, there's a space that you hold where you don't breathe in between. uh, when you breathe out, you hold a silent space and you don't breathe. You hold your breathing for a little while, and then you breathe in again and you breathe out again, and then you hold that non-breathing space. And in that non-breathing space is when he says to open up into spiritual awareness within, and kind of the matrix or the nexus between what your body intelligence is telling you and what the spirit is telling you. Because I talked to him in depth about this to see, how close he gets. and um and anyway, so he leaves the door open for it, right? But then I've also, like, there's this guru from India, I think I've mentioned in the past. His name is Tarun, that I found also on meetup.com. And he's like somebody who's gone through like all the deep guru training, like from the lineage of gurus and stuff. You could tell it by the way he talks and how deep his concepts are, right? And anyway, so he goes into that. If you want to become a healer, it's complete letting go of any self gratification or any, except for the enjoyment of the dance of the healing itself, is how he says it. But any kind of gain in any level, he says, is not what you want to look for. So he doesn't even believe in making money while you're doing it. So, which is a whole other subject that I have my own feelings and experience around. But anyway, so as he goes deeply into this, he's helped me to transform and be deeply healed and open up to the beauty inside of myself. Like, I used to be connected to my upper chakra. I mean, I found myself more connected to my upper chakras than my lower chakras, and I've gone to the Divine Mother and asked her to help me with that and to heal me and to balance me in my lower chakras. And I had an experience where this other guy who chants to the sun and says that the sun will give us insights if we chant to the sun, and that there's a being in the sun that wants to communicate to us. And when my mom passed away, uh, after she passed away, she spoke to me that the sun is like a womb, and that spirits are birthed into the physical dimension through the sun. And I was in Portland one time. I think it was Portland. Yeah. This I was just traveling through. This wasn't when I was living there and going to your groups, but I was in Portland and I went to this park because they were playing this really neat music. I was at a hotel. I went to the park and it was this Black Lives Matter thing, and there was and they were really putting out the love and the spirit and all that kind of stuff. And I was drawing this. They're having everybody draw these creative pictures, and I was drawing one of them. And I said to the guy next to me, I said, "Oh, I felt inspired to draw the picture of the vision that I had when my mom passed away, where I saw the flashing light at the top of the mountain the moment that she died, and then 15 minutes later, my brother um, texted me that your mom just died, and I had no idea. I didn't even know that her health was going to lead her to dying." And so I was drawing this, and I said, and I drew a sun, and I said I was driving on the highway. This was like a couple months after my mom passed away, and my mom actually told me to look at the sun, and I was like really, really scared because I was like, it's gonna hurt my eyes. And I just opened my heart, and in all my fear, I knew that my heart was telling me that my mom was telling me this. So I looked at the sun, and as I looked at it, I saw it like pulsing, and it was like in this oblong shape, and I could see like it was like in the shape of a vulva, and I could see the pulsations, and I could feel like that it was like this place where spirits could go in and come out. And anyway, I told the guy in the park in Portland, I said, this thing I'm drawing it has all that in it. And his mouth just dropped open. He looked at me and he just went, "Oh my God." And I went, "What?" And he said, "The guy that's up in front right now doing the DJing has a song where he wrote exactly what you're saying." And I said, "What?" Because I never heard anybody talk about this in any way like this, right? And so I went up to him and I showed him the poster and I said, "This is what's happening in the poster." And he said, "Oh my God, this came to me in a vision, and I wrote a song about it, that the spirits come and go through the sun." Anyway, so see, I forgot where I was with all this. Uh, yeah, so the problem is that when you're on a spiritual path and you're getting this direct connection with the divine, and you're getting these downloads, and you're getting this loving relationship, you know we want somehow to be able to share that in the world. I mean, like I said last week, I even asked the divine mother, whatever you want, do you want me to share it in the world? If not, then I won't. But but it's like people have these systems out there, and in these systems they attract these people who are looking for a deeper path, or looking for healing, or whatever, looking for the divine. And sometimes in those systems, it's kind of like a target rich environment in a way, if I may say it. It's like going and being involved in their system could be a chance for me to have more of an opportunity to share what I've experienced, you know. But I guess part of what I was talking about is that guru, he went really deep in the transformation. And I was standing on the beach and I was chanting to the sun this last week, and a ray of sunshine came down. I'm not kidding you. I can't remember. Did I talk about this last week, where the one single ray of sunshine was shining at my heart?
Yeah, dude. I think
You don't
so.
recall? You don't think so? Or
Yeah, I do.
okay. Oh, you think I did?
I think you did, and I do, and yes.
Okay. So I was standing on, I won't go into it then, but I was standing on the beach and there was this one ray of sunshine shining right at my heart. And I'd never experienced that before. And I felt this gold, I was starting to experience this golden light and the beauty of the golden light and the gold and owning that that golden light was in me and that that was making me completely beautiful inside. And then as I walked further on the beach, all of a sudden he was talking about the golden light coming in and healing us and transforming us. And as we send the golden light out to other people in the world, uh, that's what transforms us even more into like a healing channel. And it's like the more we let it flow through us, the more it becomes more powerful. One lady this morning mentioned like it could be like exercising a muscle in a way. Um, but but so there is transformational healing in the golden light and in going directly to spirit. I completely have experienced that. I mean, to a point of the bottom part of my chakras, I just felt like I was, I'll say it this way, the way that came to me. Maybe it's kind of like the way it came to me is kind of related to the way that I was wounded when I was a child around this. It was like I felt like I was this beautiful European boy, just like, like the kind of the image like of Fabio or something, but not so muscular. But it was like I felt like I was this. I could see myself as being like this hippie walking the face of this earth in a beautiful way with these strong pillar legs that were like beautiful. And I'd never ever felt like that part of me, like I was even supposed to be in the world or I was even supposed to be moving through the world. There was like a deep wound within me about being fully present in this world and especially that part of the foundation of me. But I had sensed that in seeing certain other guys at certain other like concerts that I had gone to or retreats or whatever, like these spiritual guys that I looked at them and they just seemed like so rooted in the earth and just beautiful. And I never felt that for myself. And when that golden sunshine came into me, and especially when it was kind of like personalized, like a healing way where there was that one ray shining right at my heart, and there was no other rays. And then as I was walking on the beach and he was talking about that, and then as I was just opening my heart further and just letting it go through me and down to my lower parts, and I experienced that beauty. Yes, that direct connection to the spirit can give us direct healing. That golden light can heal us and open up to us things that we couldn't have imagined with our mind that might have been wounded in different ways or our heart. So I I I I totally believe in the spirit side of it, but I also totally believe and have experienced. I shouldn't say believe because again, I feel that believing is believing something you don't know. But through my experiences, I've experienced the spiritual side of the healing, and I've also experienced the psychological side of the healing. So I have experienced that both are important and both are loving. The psychological part of it can be very difficult, can be very fearful, it can be very distant, and it can feel hopeless. And and having the courage and the support to go deep into that process, that's part of where my heart is at to help people with that. I've been through like there was years ago where I went through tens of years, like over and over again, like decades, 10 years here, 10 years there, where the predominant feeling that I would feel would be a sense of hopelessness and a sense that I could go through my whole life and never get to the bottom of the way that I knew I was broken, you know. And so I believe that there's a lot that can be, there's a lot of help there that can be given to people who might be in that place where they're feeling that hopeless, you know. And, but I'm so thankful because, you know, it includes also my experience of spiritual love. And so it's like it truly is all good, you know. And I give, not only have I opened my heart to these other systems to love them and accept them, but I'm also sending them that golden energy, also sending them that golden light. And I'm visualizing them as being happy and fulfilled and full and blissful and dancing and laughing. So I'm fully accepting those systems as well, completely. I don't know if you've ever heard of Dr. Gibson. I think his first name is Mitchell. Dr. Mitchell Gibson. Oh my God. This guy is so deep into ancient teachings, like of the sun and all that stuff, uh, and the soul and what the soul is. There's a series that I found. It's kind of esoteric in a way. It's not something that just comes up when you look for spirituality right away on YouTube. But I found him through an Amazon Prime movie, which is called Awakening, and or Spiritual Awakening, I think. And there's like 4 episodes, and the first episode is him. Each episode is a different person, a different presentation. But the first episode is him, and he has this 17 or 19 different videos on YouTube where he goes into all the ancient teachings. And evidently, when you chant at the sun, it downloads geometrical symbols to you that are like, the sacred geometrical symbols that the universe is built on. And it can open you up to receiving insight more readily or more quickly. I guess there's this whole movement in Arizona where they actually practice this. It's a big thing. And out in the desert, it sounds kind of fun because it'd be warm for one thing. And anyway, I was looking further to see if I could find any other material by him, and I found that him and his wife got together and created this like 9-part series on the soul and what the soul is. And I don't, he's a doctor. He used to be a psychiatrist, but he's done like really, really lengthy research into this stuff. And as everybody else, I don't just take anything I hear without, for one thing, a grain of salt. But for another thing, I also, go to my own heart and my own spirit and my soul to test things and to see, if I experience something along those lines. So I've been trying the chanting to the sun, and I have been having experiences. So, uh, so anyway, that's why I've been interested, and I'm looking forward to watching his. It's really I can there's certain things that he'll say, and I feel fed by them, like in my heart. I can feel it's feeding. And then there's some things that he says where I'm like, that does kind of sound like it might be like this really bizarre thought that somebody just like reverse engineered. Did anybody ever really experience that idea? You know, so yeah, it's really fun though. It's neat. Any thoughts or
No, not really. Not today. I don't have very many
okay,
thoughts today.
okay, cool. I sure do appreciate you being here though.
Yeah, absolutely. I do too.
Cool. All right. I guess I'm ready to go, or are you okay with that?
Yeah,
Or
I'm okay with that. No
all
worries.
right, cool. Right. Thank you, Frank, and
Yeah, we'll see,
I don't
bro.
know if I've said this in past meetings, but I love you.
I love you too, Robin. Thank you, my
Okay.
friend.
All right. Bye bye.